This film also had the creepiest Santa. And you could,
oh my god,
yeah!
We need to find the fourth dimension, and by finding all these tiny little perfect things that happen in our neighborhood or in our town or whatever, we're gonna find the fourth dimension, and we're missing one. I'll pick Andrew Garfield. Peter 3.
Peter 3.
Ooh, that comic book filter.
This green ball?
This green tennis ball is Vecna, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're talking about Chippendales the dancers, right? Not Chippendales the chipmunks? Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties.
Quickly. Okay, I think we're good.
Just hold on. We fixed it. We're professionals. We know what we're doing. Do we? I don't know. Anyways, guys. Hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hey, Cinema Peeps.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh, you know, it's a start of a podcast because I've already fucking yawned. My God. Big old yawns.
Yep.
Oh, yes. And I am wearing a new sweater.
Heck yeah.
I'm
jealous because I only have the one sweater. I guess I just need to start wearing it every episode because I was saving it for our like big Christmas episode, but
I mean, that's a good idea.
I want to be festive too.
And like I said, I have so many. I was like, I could just start wearing them every episode. This is perfect.
Right?
And we were just talking about buying more. Should I? Probably not, but
will I? Probably will.
Probably. I can't be trusted. Oh no. So I have just finished watching the newest episode because we record them. They go out a week and, math hard. I mostly watch them so I can remind myself what sweater I've worn so I don't, go too overboard. But I was saying how I wasn't sure about Haunting in Venice, that it was what it was based on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is based on Agatha Christie's A Halloween Party that does have Hercule Poirot and Tina Fey's character, the reporter, as the characters invited to a Halloween party.
Okay.
And I kind of perused the synopses very quickly, but it does seem very different in terms of characters for sure.
Okay.
But there was a couple things because like in the movie, the whole catalyst is that somebody is talking about a murder that has already happened like years ago and how they have like new info or something. So they end up dying. So then Hercule Poirot has to solve two mysteries, an old mystery and the current mystery. And it seems like that's the same for the Halloween party. Although a little funny detail that I thought was kind of cool was that I guess the character who claims to have known about some sort of, again, a death that happened, they died via drowning of, like, bobbing of apples.
Oh.
And in the movie, Poirot, they're like, oh, you should lighten up and, like, bob for an apple. And so he does. But he's wearing this cloak. And so the murderer mistakes him as someone else and tries to drown him in the apples.
Oh.
But then they realize, oh, wait, that's not who I was after, and then they have to go over and kill that person. So I just, quick read, but I thought that was kind of a cool detail to incorporate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't want to read too much into the article just in case. But it did seem especially from the list of characters, there was a lot more, and B seemed to be like a different variety of people. I didn't recognize any of the names from the movie, so kind of cool.
Nice. That's pretty neat.
Right? I want to start off by making that correction. Not correction, just that I have now been more informed and I wish to share.
Yeah.
Wasn't that I was wrong. I was just unsure of the information I had.
There you go. And now you are, and we're all wiser for it.
Off to the races,
I'm
as it
even
is.
more intrigued to watch it.
Do it. Well, I know we had just talked about how you were like, oh, I didn't watch anything this week. Well, I managed to watch one thing this week.
Okay. Yeah, because I watched one other Hallmark film earlier last week. But again, I don't want to like reveal too many because we still have like a full episode that we want to do to talk about our Hallmark movies. So I don't want to talk about them all and then have like nothing to talk about afterwards.
Talk about them all. But yeah, I watched Candy Cane Lane on Amazon Prime
Ooh, okay.
with Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy.
And the Happy Meal toys and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was on the list, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Besides, the other thing I watched this week was cult documentaries, so I don't know how we want to if we want to dive into cult stuff around Christmas. But I was watching a lot of cult stuff, so we could talk about all my cult stuff.
I mean, yeah.
What a trip!
Christmas is a great time for cult season.
I think so, and apparently Netflix and Amazon Prime think so. Okay, now that I've said that, I have to talk about my cult stuff. So I don't know if you've heard about this. I recently heard about it on the Philip DeFranco show about this thing called twin flames.
Oh, yes.
If you heard of the twin flame phenomenon.
I have heard it circling around of people saying, oh, you should, I think it was people on Facebook were like sharing about it and they were like, so good. And I was like, what is this?
Like the documentary or?
Yeah, the documentary,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because Philip was kind of just talking about like all like the legal stuff that was happening.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay. And then literally my friends that week were like, oh, hey, I started watching this twin flame thing on Netflix. And I was like, what a coinky dink. And it was only 3 episodes. So I was like, why the fuck not? So I binged that in a day and was very sad at the end, as per usual. When you finish watching anything cult or, unsolved mystery. If you're not ending it being sad, then you did not do it right. You did not make it right. But the thing that I thought was interesting. So again, maybe just because, all this stuff is coming out. And I will say a lot of YouTubers have now like covered like twin flames and stuff like that. So like I feel like the knowledge is more out there. But not only did Netflix make a documentary, but like I'm also just going off of trailer information. But 2 months before that one, Amazon Prime made a documentary about the twin flames cult.
Interesting.
And I just thought that was so weird. But I literally never heard about the one on Prime. I had heard about the one on Netflix, and that one was the one that blew up.
Sometimes I would just love to like watch or just see like what the process is behind some of these, because I feel like that's happened before with a couple other documentaries,
and that's what
there's been a Netflix version and a Prime version, and I'm like, are they just like, do all the streaming services just meet around a board table one day and then they're like, okay, this topic is up for grabs for documentaries, so have at it, and then they're either all like, okay, we're all gonna do it and best documentary wins, okay, go. Like,
Now that that's off the docket, how do we screw over the actors and writers?
Yeah.
Also in the same meeting. It was really a productive meeting that day.
Jesus.
But no, me and my friend were also wondering that because we'd all watched the Netflix documentary on our own, but me and my friend, we were just hanging out and we were like, and I was showing her the one on Prime and I was like, do you just want to watch it? Because again, it was just 3 episodes. We're like, yeah, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah. And
so what was interesting was like seeing like the parallels of like people who were, again, maybe out of respect, or maybe they just didn't have the permission to, had some people's faces blurred. But of course, in the other one, I was like, oh, I know that person because they were in the other one. They shared their story in the other documentary. Yeah. So, and there was actually one person in both of the documentaries who spoke in both of them. So
interesting.
I too would also be curious of like how that came about. Again, obviously it was a popular topic to cover, especially just because, as you look at the documentary, the whole thing is like they're trying to pin this group as a cult, and they're having a lot of difficulties doing it. So like it shouldn't be a surprise then that many people want to cover it and get the word out. But again, it is interesting that 2 different filmmakers created this, and then Amazon Prime and Netflix were like, okay, cha-ching. Yeah. We will fund you, or maybe they bought it from them. I don't know. But again, it's just interesting. So I would like to know. I need a 3rd one to come out on Apple to tell me how the process of all this happened.
Right? And then maybe like a mini series on Disney.
Right? And then we got the whole, I was going to say the trifecta, but really it'd be a square at that point. Yeah. Which is fine.
Right.
But at least I will say it was nice that like both the dog, like again, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they both covered like slightly different aspects of the topic. So at least that was nice, I guess. Whereas the Netflix is definitely, it's like, I'll be real, Netflix, this is their bread and butter. You know, they're like murder shows, cult shows, baking shows, like we got it all. We
Yeah.
know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Netflix one was like, you know, personal, anecdotal speeches and messages from people who had left the cult. So you got an idea of like how these people end up in something like this and then kind of continue this terrible cycle of, you know, just hurting not only themselves but like other people in the group. But sorry baby, but the Prime one was more focused on this reporter who was doing a piece on them. I believe she worked for Vanity Fair, if I remember correctly. And so a lot of it actually delved into like the leaders themselves.
Oh, okay.
The couple themselves. And like kind of some stuff. And they interviewed like people from like their childhood and like their parents. And kind of went to more, I want to say like kind of like business side, I guess. But again, it was more of like the focus on how they started this group and just their control over people. So I will say it was nice because I felt like I got more info that way from both. So
nice.
But still, it was wild that, you know, again, same time, same place.
Yeah.
You know, very bizarre, very bizarre.
A weird quinky dink.
Right? So if you want to go down the rabbit hole of twin flames, there's one on Netflix and on Prime.
There you go.
So take your choice. But like I said, both let me feel sad because, yeah, on the surface level, you know, people are just, you know, we're lonely. And they're like, and if there's a group that's like, hey, I can help you find your soulmate ×2. Your twin flame is even stronger, like a level up from a soulmate. You're like, yeah, of course. You know? And that's how they get you. And then they were, you know, very, like, everyone, like, literally anyone in that group who's, like, you know, talked about it, they were like, they were so welcoming. And I felt so loved. And everybody there, you know, it was amazing until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Until they're like, oh, this person's your twin flame. And they go, oh, well, this person said they don't like me. Well, you just have to try harder. You have to stalk them. And so there was a lot of so that's why I think it, you know, legally things picked up because there was people obviously with restraining orders against them because they're like, please leave me alone. And one person even went to jail for like 60 days or something.
Wow.
And again, she was saying like how this cult was like, don't talk to your family, like don't reach out to them. But then she was like, so I couldn't reach out to my family because I didn't think I could. And then I couldn't reach out to them because she's like, I failed. So she just sat in jail for 60 days.
Wow.
It was fucked up.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Also, just on a random note, I never want to use the word juicy ever again. Ever again.
Uh-oh.
This crazy man was like, he would start off all like their Zoom sessions as like, welcome to another juicy session. And I was like, I'm done. I never want to hear that word again.
Yeah, no kidding. God.
And again, I don't want to delve too much into it, but like they're both like the guy, I already forgot his name because I want to forget. He is just insane. He started being like, I'm the second coming of Christ. And I was like, okay, all right. Again, it's very
red flag
easy,
number 1.
right? I mean, there was red flags before that, but like,
yeah.
Again, it's one of those times you hear shit like that, and it's like, okay, can we all just be like, that doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
But again, a lot of people had their livelihoods and financially tied in this, so like, I get it, but like, whoo, my goodness. But yeah, juicy, never using that word again.
Stuff.
It can be very scary stuff.
Right?
So after all of my cult stuff, I was like, I should probably watch something Christmas to like try to brighten my spirits.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going down the rabbit hole of twin flames forever. So yeah, I watched Candy Cane Lane.
Nice.
Just try to balance it out, you know?
Yeah, a good balance, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, how was Candy Cane Lane?
It was all right.
Yeah?
It was really weird.
Yeah?
You don't have to watch it this week, but I would love for you to watch it this week and share me your thoughts.
I am intrigued, so I probably will try to watch it this week.
Okay, sweet. Like, send me Snapchat videos because I need to know.
Okay.
Mostly because, like I was thinking about it today, and I think, oh god, too many thoughts in the head. They're all exploding. All right, let's start off with the beginning. I'll give you a quick synopsis. So, for you and others who do not know. Oh no.
Bless.
Thank you. And so the story centers around the Carver family, which, you know, is Eddie Murphy's character. Oh god, I should remember his name, but I do not. His wife Carol, their son Nick, their daughter Joy, and their other daughter Holly. I forgot his name, but yes, it's all Christmas themed, and they make fun of it. So they live, you know, bestest life, you know. Everything's going well, but then 3 days before Christmas, Eddie Murphy's company like liquidates their company and let him go. And they're like, all right, bye. And he's like, and so he's little sad pandas, but you know, his wife's, you know, she's so pumped. She's like, oh, I'm getting a job promotion. And he's just like, I don't know. He goes, I want to keep things normal. I want to have one last good Christmas. And she's like, good Christmas? What are you talking about? He's like, well, Joey's going away to college and da-da-da. Nick's right around the corner. Then my baby girl's going to leave me. And she's like, no, don't stress about it. You know, we'll have a good Christmas. Like, don't need to worry. And then from the preview, right, Candy Cane Lane has this big lights competition. Lights are like kind of like, I think it's more like house displays.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy actually makes all his stuff by hand, which is very cool. But he's never won. And then this year, it's announced it's all different because there's $100,000 prize on the line. So he's like, shit, I gotta step up my game. And he randomly finds this under the bridge store, which that should have been a red flag right there, of this Christmas store where he meets Pepper, the holiday elf, who's like, yeah, I could help you. And she gets all this decorations, and she gets him a 12 Days of Christmas tree. And then she goes, rings him up, and she goes, oh, to sign on the dotted line. Don't look at the fine print. And Eddie Murphy's like, who looks at the fine print? Ha 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 ha. And basically he signs away his life. And then this holiday tree starts coming to life, and all the like 12 days of Christmas, like 6 geese a laying come around and start planting eggs like fucking a machine gun on Carol while she's trying to be at work, living her normal life. Swans are swimming in their pool, and he discovers that, or with the little, as you said, the little Halloween toys, or McDonald's toys. They're like, yeah, she tricked you. Like, you have to, there's usually some sort of task you have to do. Otherwise, you'll turn into us on Christmas Eve. And Eddie Murphy's like, I'm not going to let that happen. So he finds out he has to get 5 gold rings. So him and his kids and his family try to get these rings and try to save them from turning into a McDonald's toy before Christmas Eve. And yeah, the movie's weird. If the synopsis wasn't, you weren't like, wow, that sounds weird. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering too, like when we were talking about it before on the podcast, I'm like, this could be a hit or miss, I feel like. Because like Eddie Murphy's great. He's funny, but I do feel like some of his movies can be a hit or miss sometimes, depending on what it's about, or just if the humor like hits it, and like just it sometimes it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
But just based off of your, I don't know why, but like based off the like your synopsis of it, reminds me of like, I feel like it reminds me of like a type of movie that would have been on when we were kids. It's that kind of weird. Yeah.
Right? I feel that.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I will say, like everyone like did a good job. And there was definitely like parts I thought were really funny,
Mm-hmm.
but the pacing of it was very weird.
Oh.
Like, I've been trying to figure out all day, like, how to describe it, but just, like, I think for me it was, like, the story beats felt weird to me.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was, like, I don't know, like, it wasn't like it was, like, just jointed. Like, it told a complete story.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I felt the order of the events were really weird, and that's why I need you to watch it, so you
Okay.
can validate how I feel, or maybe you can explain why I feel the way I do. I just, like, I couldn't figure it out, you know? I was like, "Huh." Yeah, the pacing of it is just very weird.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I will definitely check it out and give you
Yeah.
my thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's just yeah, like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Like, technically all, like, the traditional story beats are there, it's just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the pacing is weird. The pacing's very
Huh.
weird. But
Interesting.
like I said, there's a lot of really good funny bits that I enjoyed, but the third act especially is fucking wild, okay? It's wild. Like, for the most part, like, I know I just said, like, "Oh, yeah, there's, like, 6 geese a-laying just shooting eggs out of the sky and swans and all this shit," you know? You'd think already, like, wow, that's pretty weird, but, like, the ending was pretty fucking weird. It was yeah, I don't wanna spoil too much, but it was just what the fuck happened in this third act?
Oh no.
But, yeah, it was fucking weird.
Oh
I'll leave it
no.
at that. It was fucking weird. Yeah. Um, other points, like, maybe hit or miss, but I really like the CGI on the Christmas ornament McDonald's toys.
Yeah.
I thought it looked great, but there was other things in the movie that didn't look as good.
Okay.
Like the 3 hens, they just looked really weird.
Uh,
It was just very out of place, especially because like, earlier, like, obviously I just mentioned there's a lot of birds. So, clearly there's a lot of CGI birds, you
yeah.
know? But maybe it's just because now that I'm thinking about it, like, the look they gave for, like, um I keep calling them the McDonald's toys, but, like, I think the aesthetic look for the McDonald's toys and, like, the look they gave for, like, specifically the hens, like, to me, just felt like it was 2 different movies, in a way.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
the styles maybe didn't match up, and that's why it was so jarring. Like, the hens just
Mm.
looked bad, but maybe it's just because, right, like, these things, like, they had a very specific look and it made sense, so then
Yeah.
maybe it made the hens stick out more. Because there was another again, they'd had geese and swans, but they were clearly I think some of the swans were real, but some were CGI'd, clearly, but at least, like,
Okay.
to me, those worked better.
Hmm.
I know it seems weird I'm being very picky about the hen, but when you see the scene at the, Amazon delivery fucking scene, and there's a hen doing a military style crawl across the floor, you'll feel me. You'll be like, "Huh, that's fucking weird."
What?
And it was weird, man.
All
It
right.
was
Well,
fucking
yeah.
hell.
I have an image of a hand doing a military crawl in my brain now, and I need to see this.
I'm glad now. I'm glad that I have put that into your head.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. And again, another thing, again, this is clearly like nitpicky filming, but there was a lot of weird audio things at the end.
Oh, really?
Like, it's very obvious that they had dubbed it, but it was very poorly done.
Oh.
And so, again, it made it very weird because it's clearly like parts, again, the McDonald's toys that, again, maybe hit or miss. I like them. I think they looked really good. And there was
Mm-hmm.
stuff that obviously looked really good. And I think, I mean, I think it's hard to back up a Christmas, like, set deck, but I thought, like, it looked really good. So, like, when you have, like, things like that happen, it's like, hmm. And then when you had a third act that was fucking wild, it's like, it's like you guys cared about 80% of the way and the last 20% were bonkers.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was like they ran out of time and they're like, just put something together and figure
Yeah,
it out.
let's do it. And you're like, Sure, I guess so. And then I had
Wow.
to replay the beginning, mostly just again for me. But and again, you have to watch it. That it let me know. But there was something at the beginning that also I was like, that doesn't look right. And again, it has something to do like CGI. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but again, I need you to justify how I feel because it was just so weird.
All right, I will definitely do that. I will make that a top priority this week for myself to watch.
Thank you, thank you. I know, like that's not your job. But, like I really appreciate it.
Hey, we're in this together.
Hells
That's
yeah.
why we do these.
Like I said, though, I think kind of like what you're saying, like hit or miss. Like I think like I enjoyed the humor. But I will say it was very middle of the road for me because of all these other weird things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that, I just don't think it'll be part of my Christmas continued watching, you know?
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
be willing to watch it again with like people who have not seen it and then maybe have some drinks with me. But like I just feel like it's something I'm not gonna watch every year.
Yeah. That's fair.
It didn't do it for me.
So there's just some that are hit and miss. Like I said, it's nothing against Eddie Murphy or the people who made it. It's just sometimes things strike a chord with people, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of like based off of what we were kind of talking about last episode too. I don't want to blame everything on the strike, but it seems like a lot of movies are a little kind of suffering, or some shows at least are maybe suffering a little bit because they're not getting like either proper promotional or just like who knows, like I don't know, it's weird because I'm trying to think now of like there was a couple Hallmark movies that there was
Mhm.
I read an article on that was saying that did not finish production or were like struggling to finish production because of the strike.
Right.
And then like some like you were saying, Xmas didn't really get a lot of promo, so you weren't
Mhm.
really sure what to expect going into watching it. And then like something like this, which they like threw out a shit ton of promo for it after the strike, but as you're saying, it just kind of like fell flat for you. So I'm like, it seems like the strike happened for very valid reasons, but it just seems
Mhm.
like a lot of things have kind of either suffered from in like the aftermath because we're either like, who knows, maybe they were rushed for time, like I was saying, or just I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this rant anymore.
No, I feel you. I think
Yeah.
yeah, again, this is like no like I think it's important that they all went on strike, you know? But I think especially for at least for maybe I mean it could be up to half a year at worst maybe,
Mhm.
but I think yeah, movies are going to be suffering for just like a hot little minute cuz yeah. I what are words? Yeah, cuz yeah, productions obviously got shut down,
Mhm.
and then they have to start back up or projects that are probably already finished, It's like, okay, we have to like go go go. We need to
Yep.
like get this promoted. We need to So I think there is going to be a little bit of a weird hump of like weird content.
Mhm.
I can't remember if I talked about it last time, but Warner Brothers, they made a movie with John Cena and it was something versus Wild Coyote. So it was like him versus like from I want to say AMC, but that's I don't know why I'm thinking that right now. But basically, like Bugs Bunny and stuff.
Oh
So it
yeah.
was like
Mhm.
it was supposed to be like a live action cartoon thing.
Okay.
And this movie was fully finished. But it was supposed to come out the same time as Barbie and they were like, "Okay, no." But then they were like, "Okay, well, we're just going to shelve this movie now." And a bunch of people on the production team were pissed as hell because they're like, we just did all this work for this movie. Like, you can't, like, why? So at least, like, I think somebody leaked emails or something. So at least the word got out. And then people are like, yeah, what the hell? So then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, we'll let you workshop it to, like, somewhere else if they want to buy this finished product from. But I think the scary thing is that wasn't the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
They, I don't know one probably cares, but they scrapped a Scooby-Doo movie that the director was like, it was like 90% done. Like they were
Hmm.
just doing the finishing touches and they just pulled the plug.
Wow, what the
And
hell?
and they're like, what are we supposed to do now? Because now because I think it was technically it was it was going to be for just for the streaming service, so for like
Yeah.
Crave or Max, whatever the fuck it's called now. But now because of that, it's like, well, all these people just did all this hard work for what, you know?
Yeah.
And then again, the same with the Batwoman movie. The director was like, it was done. Like, I think he was like, it's 80%, or no, like, again, it was like 90% done. And they just pulled the plug in post production. They were like, yeah, no. And some people were like, I'm surprised that one didn't get as much, just because Brendan Fraser was playing the villain in that one. And even the
Oh.
director was like, he's like, that was phenomenal from him. So, especially with like the rise of like Brendan Fraser right now, I'm just surprised that
Yeah.
not more people were like, what the fuck? But I think just especially with this John Cena one, like, again, it's like the third thing in a row.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what the fuck W Network is doing, or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know.
Warner
Fuck.
Brothers.
Yeah. No, I don't know where I was going with this either, but I think, yeah, the bottom line is that I think there's some projects that are just suffering.
Yeah.
So
I feel like overall I think the point we're trying to make is it's going to be interesting to see in the next year, especially, but in the next couple of years, what's going to happen as far as like movies and content that's going to be out there. Like, there's obviously the stuff that's still holding strong or continuing on, but yeah, like this is going to be since COVID, really, since like the pandemic and stuff, that we're going to start seeing more like fresh original content and like, just more, hopefully more stuff, right?
yeah. And I just hope, whether it's good or bad, that it gets that chance.
Yeah.
Because again, there's nothing worse than putting all that hard work either to just like, shit it at the finish line out of something that's totally out of your control.
Right.
Or yeah, not a chance for someone to see your project. So
yeah. And I mean, like, this is probably going to sound like a stupid thing to say, but like,
never.
at what point and like where in time did we start, or when did like the emphasis on the success at the box office become so important that it's not just about like showing different varieties of stories and works and stuff, right? Because like we've talked about in ad nauseum before, like like all the Marvel movies kind of took over the movie theater experience for so long, and now that like everyone's like going through superhero fatigue, and or Disney's just going, yeah, we'll just start putting everything on Disney Plus now, so if you want to watch it there, go watch it there, kind of thing. It's now we're giving more other movies a chance to like, have their time on the big screen, but now it's like, hopefully, like, everybody should have the chance to be able to show their work, like you're saying, right?
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, bottom line is the higher ups who want more money.
Yeah, it's all money.
As shown by like, again, the writer's strike and the actor's strike, when, and they're like, hey, we want to be paid fairly. And their response was like, oh, well, that's just not possible. Like, we would go out of business. And it's like, okay, well, that's a problem then, don't you think?
Right?
Don't we think about that?
Yep.
But I think last note, like I will say again, like I said, Candy Cane Land's not my cup of tea, but I will say I noticed in the end credits that Eddie Murphy was a producer for this.
Okay.
And just thinking about all the shows that I've been into recently, and even like more shows coming out, like they are funded a lot of times by these actors. So again, I don't know if that's going to solve kind of what you're saying with like unique storytelling, but at least maybe if they're putting their money where their mouth is, we'll at least see different projects, hopefully.
Right? Which
more.
is, yeah, and hopefully too, knowing that, like, again, maybe this is just my logic on it, but knowing that the actor has some sort of hand in the production, like financially or just whatever, I would hope a lot of the times that's because they care enough about it. They really want it made. They want to see it come to fruition. They want to see it like complete and stuff like that. So to me, then that, like, going into watching it, I'm like, okay, so what is it that, like, I'm trying to think the best way to put it, but like, I want to experience what it is that they care about this movie so much that they wanted to fund it, kind of thing, right? If that makes any sense at all.
No, I think that makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, even, when we think about some of the shows that we watch too, when you finally start to see some of the actors later on in the seasons are becoming producers and directors of the shows and stuff too, and it makes you even more excited to watch those because you're like, hell yeah, these guys care enough, they enjoy being on the enough that they want to have some creative input into it as well, right?
Exactly. I guess just try to be patient and support when you can. You know, I'm not going to be like, you should go out and see every movie, because let's be real, I'm just waiting for them to come on streaming services too. Like, I'm a lazy little piece of shit. Like, I'm not about to be like on this mountaintop, be like, this is what you need to do. But, you know, just try your best, try to show up for the things you care about. And
yeah, exactly.
And yar, ball of rum, you know?
I think that's probably the best things anybody can do. Like in the day, in this day and age of social media and the internet and stuff like that, to support anybody or anything, like local business, movie, whatever, artist, like you know, like go see their stuff as much as you can, see them in concert, go see a movie, go to the store or whatever. Support them, but then also like write a review or like share their stuff or like share your thoughts on it, because ultimately I think word of mouth is still a very like powerful way to get people to like see things too, right?
Start a podcast.
Exactly.
Like everybody else on planet Earth, start a podcast, talk to people. I don't know, right? We're just two gals having a great time, that's all. But I think that'll do it for today's episode, though.
It kind of went all over the place, but
honestly, though, it was beautiful. I liked it. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. But yeah, have you been watching any cult stuff, or have you seen Candy Cane Lane? Please let us know in those comments down below. Considering leaving this video a little likesy, because we really like doing it, but you know, we like validation, as I clearly was begging for Kendra's validation all episode. And consider subscribing to two pretty cool gals. I already don't know the concept of time, but I think next week might be our last episode, so...
Oh, yes, I think you're right.
Especially tune in, please and thank you.
Yeah, and we got some fun stuff planned.
Right? And yeah, watch all the content, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!
Monkey.
Monkey.